For decades, the Brown family appeared unshakable, the ultimate polygamous family under one roof. But behind doors, secrets brewed, friendships were realigned, and a single piece of property would spark a war. No one expected. Kody believed he could keep it all in check, but this time, all his handiwork would come crashing down. The courtroom doors opened, and what followed would leave even die-hard fans stunned. Do you believe Kody may have been able to rescue his family from this tragedy? Comment your opinion below before we jump into the pandemonium within. The courtroom is heavy, nearly claustrophobic. Sunlight streams through the high windows, creating long shadows on the highly polished wooden floor. Kody Brown is seated at the front, his hands folded tightly together, his jaw clenched. His aura is tense with unspoken tension. Robyn twitches anxiously in her chair. Christine's gaze flicks toward each document in the clerk's hands, and Janelle sits silently, her back stiff as if preparing to take a blow that is not present. The stakes are greater than ever before. This is no longer simply about property. This is about control, trust, and the tenuous threads of a family that once seemed impenetrable. The judge comes in, and the room instantly quiets. Papers rustle, whispers disappear, and all eyes are fixed on Kody as he stands. His typically forceful voice falters just a little as he speaks to the court. Lawyers present a sequence of things: backroom deals, hidden deeds, and money moves that only now surface. The Brown wives exchange glances that say more than words ever could. But sin Euhide, betrayal, disbelief, and a simmering anger that has been building for years. Outside the courtroom, reporters and cameras cluster, but within, time appears to stand still. Each click of a pen, each rustle of a court document rings out like a drumbeat, a reminder to everyone that today is not just any ordinary day. For the first time in nearly 4 decades, the carefully crafted image of the Brown family is being dismantled, piece by piece, in front of an audience that is both silent and smothering. Kody looks over at Robyn, attempting to read her response, but her gaze is on the evidence spread out before them. Christine leans forward from Janelle, whispering a query, but it's more rhetorical than question-like. Both women already understand that the truth is irrefutable. And then comes the first big bombshell: a deed thought secure by Kody, a property scheme he thought concealed, now brought out into the light. The room gasps. Murmurs sweep through the courtroom. Kody's control for the first time feels precarious, slipping away from him like sand. But what came next, no one in the courtroom saw coming. The tension is electric, charged with anticipation and fear. Every family member feels it, every observer feels it, and even the judge leans forward, slightly sensing that the story unfolding before them is far more than just legal paperwork. It's about years of secrecy, unspoken resentments, and alliances that could shift in a heartbeat. Outside, the world waits with bated breath for who will emerge victorious, but within, the real drama is unfolding. Every breakthrough, every aghast stare propels the Brown family closer to a collision that each cannot help but face. And as the session ends, one question looms over everything in the air: how much longer can Kody keep this tenuous empire intact before it all crashes down? The courtroom doors shut behind a clerk, locking the room in a near intolerable tension. Kody's face contorts, and for an instant he appears smaller than the patriarch he's so long attempted to be. The evidence presented previously still haunts everyone's minds: the clandestine deeds, the surreptitious agreements, and the inescapable evidence that Kody had plotted behind the wives' backs. Robyn's fingers wrap around the edge of the table, knuckles tight, as she fights to maintain her dignity. Christine's lips thin into a line, her eyes narrowing in fury and heartbreak. Janelle shifts restlessly, torn between disbelief and vindication. The judge clears her throat, indicating the next stage of the proceeding will start. The room falls silent. The wives' lawyer stands, voice steady but firm, setting out the facts of Kody's behavior. The way property that was supposed to be used for the benefit of the entire family was quietly diverted. The way signatures were withheld. the way control of the finances was vested entirely in Kody's hands. Each word thuds like a hammer blow, ringing out in the hushed courtroom. The tension is palpable, like electricity crackling in the air. Kody slouches back, attempting to defend himself, but the room is already turning on him. Every disclosure seems to erode the control he had once held. Robyn's eyes snap back to the papers, once more. Sigh, catching an item she had not seen before, a clause that not had been overlooked, and that would totally reverse the outcome. Her breath freezes. She shares a look with Christine and Janelle, and in that instant, implicit alliances are created. This is not just a court case. It's a battle for justice, dignity, and long overdue truth. Every secret that was entombed for years was clawing its way to the surface, and no one was ready for the tempest it would unleash. The tension changes instantly. A witness is subpoenaed, someone who has been quietly monitoring Kody's spending choices for years. Theirs is a testimonial that's damning, detailing moments when Kody acted on his own, falsified documents, and disregarded constant complaints from the wives. Christine experiences a jolt of vindication, but also is shaken. The treachery feels so personal. Robyn fights to keep tears at bay, and Janelle's hands quake ever so slightly as the enormity of the revelation sets in. The courtroom is no longer a room. It's a battlefield of emotions as years of built-up anger, hurt, and disappointment spill into the open. The judge waits, sweeping the room with his eyes, allowing the gravity of the testimony to settle. Every set of eyes is on Kody. His jaw clenches, beads of sweat forming at his hairline. He'd always thought he could control every detail of his life, but now everything seems precarious. The wives, long appearing powerless, are taking matters into their own hands. And here, in this hushed moment thick with expectation, it is revealed the family dynasty that Kody created is beginning to crumble from the inside out, and the next bombshell may alter everything. The space seems to be shrinking, the seconds ticking by longer than before. Kody fidgets in his seat, eyes scanning frantically as the next item of proof is produced. It's a stack of emails, messages, and contracts, some that he'd thought were confidential, some that he'd thought were deep-sixed forever. As the lawyer scatters them on the table, the light glints off the ink, exposing choices made in the wives' backs. Robyn's hands shake slightly as she leans forward, eyes sweeping each page. Christine's breath stops in her throat, jaw clamped tight, her feelings balancing on vindication and heartbreak. Janelle crosses her arms, glowering at Kody, years of anger boiling up in this one moment. The judge glances over the rim of her glasses, her voice firm but calm. "Mr. Brown, can you tell me why these choices were made without consulting your wives?" The hush that follows is oppressive. Kody's mouth opens, seeking words that fail him. The tension in the courtroom is palpable, like a wire stretched tight, waiting to snap. Each of the wives' eyes is on him, reading the tiniest twitch, the tiniest hesitation. Each micro-expression seems amplified, each one displaying layers of deceit that can no longer be concealed. And then the witness produced by the wives approaches, someone closely involved with the handling of the properties. Their testimony is minute, exacting, and devastating. They tell of how Kody had been manipulating documents, disregarding persistent demands for openness, and making unilateral decisions in issues that needed to be shared. Every word punches its way into the air, causing ripples of shock around the room. Robyn has tears spring into her eyes, but she clenches them back. Christine's hands tremble a little, and Janelle's face becomes strained, jaw clenched in resolve. The silence of tension is unbearable, but no one has the courage to break it, as if every sound could dispel the tenuous grip Kody maintains. In that moment, every secret, every lie, every hidden maneuver was laid bare, and the Brown family would never be the same. One especially incriminating email is read aloud, demonstrating Kody skirting around Robyn and the other wives completely, in order to finalize a deal for himself. The courtroom gasps. Murmurs ripple through the room. Kody's expression sets, and for the first time, the wives witness fear flash in his eyes. He had always been the one holding the reins, the mastermind of the family's story. But now, the shields he built up around himself are shattering. The judge leans forward, tone dropping into a growl. "This changes everything, Mr. Brown. Are you ready to account for these deeds?" Kody swallows hard, the crushing weight of decades of control and secrecy bearing down on him like never before. Outside cameras click, but inside, the real theatrics are the silent tensions, the unspoken awareness that one more secret could unravel it all. As the session comes to a close, the wives share a glance that speaks volumes. Betrayal, power, and reckoning stand at the doorstep, and one question lingers over the room like a thundercloud. What will Kody do next? And can he hold on through the implosion he created? The courtroom is claustrophobic, the atmosphere heavy with tension and anticipation. Yana. Kody stiffly sits with hands clenched around the table's edge, his jaw set, eyes moving between wives. Robyn leans forward, breathing shallow, as though the next spoken word could break the tension, hanging so thin. Christine's eyes spark with quiet anger, her lips compressed, struggling to keep words from spilling out that could spark a fight at any moment. Janelle sits erect, radiating a blend of disbelief and seething fury. Each heartbeat is magnified, resonating in the quiet room. The judge clears her throat and gestures to the next piece of evidence. A heavy binder of financial documents slides down the table. The attorney for the wives rises, voice firm but biting. These documents show actions that went in direct contravention of the arrangements within this family, she says. With every page she turns, she finds transfers, hidden deals, and documents Kody thought would never come to light. Robyn's grip on the binder clenches, Christine fidgets in her seat, and Janelle moves in, her eyes growing wide as she puts together the entire extent of the deceit. Kody's mouth opens to reply, but the words fail. He has always counted on his authority, his dominance, over every part of the family's life. But now, here he stands, caught, coming apart under the kind of scrutiny he believed he could avoid. The silence that accompanies his failed explanation is palpable. Each hushed conversation, each sidelong glance between the wives is heavy with meaning. Each glance attests to what they already knew. The empire Kody created was more brittle than people ever dreamed. Every secret plan, every hidden move, every hidden maneuver was coming undone right in front of their eyes, and the family they had long believed was above reproach was starting to break down. Tabitastang. Then, a shocking revelation comes forth. A secret contract reveals that Kody had been trying to get total ownership of Coyote Pass in his sole name, cutting out Robyn, Christine, and Janelle. The room all takes a collective breath. The shock registered on every face. Robyn's hand shakes as she sets her fingers on the papers. Christine drops her jaw and sits back. Janelle's eyes have narrowed into a cold glare. The betrayal is unmistakable. For the first time, the wives experience a sense of fear, anger, and empowerment. They have in their hands the truth, and with it, bargaining power. The judge's voice slices through the tension. "Mr. Brown, these reports are serious. How do you explain accusations of outright deception?" Kody's throat dries as he struggles to keep his cool. His control, the thing he had lived by for so many years, is sliding out of his hands, and the wives sit poised and ready to pounce at the slightest whiff of excuse or evasiveness. Outside, the world waits expectantly, but within the actual combat is unseen, a heart-exploding emotional power play. Each response, each unconscious thought has repercussions that can forever alter the family. And as the session winds down, one chilling question lingers. How much longer can Kody keep up the charade before the whole family dynasty falls? The following morning, the courtroom is different, heavier, quieter. Outside, the world buzzes with sound, reporters gathered at every turn, but within, it's the quiet that screams the loudest. Kody enters with his head downcast, the burden of the day before bearing down like an approaching storm he cannot leave. His wives enter separately this time, each with an atmosphere of independence that says it all. The solidarity he once had is lost, but now there is distance, lack of trust, and an invisible wall he can't break down. The session begins with a somber tone. The judge's words cut through the tension like a blade. We're entering the phase of final statements and verified testimonies. So everyone knows this is where truth turns into consequence. Kody's attorney fumbles through papers, his usual confidence faltering as the wife's attorney rises. Christine steps forward to testify, her voice steady but laced with emotion. She recounts years of sacrifice, of commitment made and unkept, of trust, the process from being instructed while seeing Kody create an independent life with Robyn. Her voice shakes only once, when recounting that she understood love had evolved into control. The courtroom is in total silence. Even Kody doesn't stir. Then Janelle gets up. She's speaking, and her tone is one of calm fact, but each word hits like a punch. She describes the financial deceit, the deceitful altering of property percentages, and the promises broken. She glares at Kody, not with anger, but with something much worse, disappointment. It's the expression of someone who's witnessed the truth and cannot look away from it. And for the first time in decades, Kody comes to realize they no longer fear him. They no longer need him. Robyn, who has been quiet until now, pauses. The judge asks her if she would like to speak. For a moment, she says no, shaking her head, but then something changes in her eyes. Slowly, she stands up. Her voice breaks as she confesses. She knew bits of the truth, not everything, but enough to make her question her allegiance. I felt I was doing it for our family, she speaks quietly, but perhaps I was only protecting a lie. The courtroom is shocked. Kody goes pale, disbelief carved on every feature. The judge pauses long, surveying the room. This family started on the promise of togetherness, she says, but at some point, power came in as a substitute for love. The ensuing silence is out. Kody looks at his wives, the women who once had faith in him, who constructed his universe, and sees that the kingdom of sister wives is falling apart, not because of them, but because of him. As the judge recesses, the wives exit together, in silence, but side by side, a mutual bond forged in mutual betrayal. Kody sits frozen, unmoving, the sound of the gavel still echoing in his mind. And just as the screen goes black, one final line is shown, a chilling promise of things to come. You know, the verdict isn't the end. It's only the beginning of Kody Brown's reckoning. The courtroom slowly vacates, leaving Kody sitting alone in the room's center. The sun's bright afternoon light pours in through the tall windows, casting shadows on the shiny floor, shadows that seem like the oppression of years of secrecy weighing upon him. The world outside buzzes with gossip and speculation, but in here, the silence is oppressive. Every turn, every groan of the wood reminds Kody that his grip is fading. The wives have gotten their bearings, and he's learning, wincingly, that their coalition is more powerful than his dominance. Word gets around fast. Cameras pack the sidewalk outside the courthouse, strobing continuously as reporters demand quotes. Social media buzzes with responses, fans discussing, analyzing, and opining on each exposure. But Kody is not concerned with public opinion. He's concerned with the faces in that courtroom, the wives who once had faith in him unquestioningly. Christine, with her quiet strength, Janelle, unyielding and consistent, and Robyn, torn but no longer blind to reality. Each of them serves as a reminder of the empire he's losing incrementally, and every memory of betrayal stings more than any courtroom ruling could. Kody's brain flashes back to the land, Coyote Pass, the starting point of the controversies. He had believed he could play games with it, gain control, and keep dominance over the family. But now, every paper revealed, every signature disputed, every secret move unveiled, has made his scheme an open amusement. The wives had become sophisticated in understanding him, predicting his actions, and reacting with a solidarity he did not anticipate. It's a bitter pill, one bitter with hubris and misplaced trust. For the first time, Kody understands that power is tenuous, and betrayal is a force more potent than control. Robyn moves forward in private to speak with Christine and Janelle. It's an uncomfortable but silent conversation, full of feelings they cannot verbalize in front of Kody or the cameras. They exchange moments of shock, outrage, and a queer relief. The secret is finally out, and however bruising, the veils of deception have been stripped away. Across the hall, Kody sits helpless to hear their words, but aware of every change in the atmosphere. He is no longer the mastermind. He is just reacting, attempting to save what little is left of his control. The public backlash rages through the days that follow. The headlines shout betrayal, secrets, and family breakdown. The fans argue whether Kody ever did care about the family or if control always came before love. Within, the wives start strategizing, their autonomy no longer a maybe, but a real agenda for the future. Kody sits by, unable to do anything, as the women he believed he could control seize control of their own destiny. And yet, the biggest surprise still lies in store. Records unearthed after the hearings indicate there are more secrets, financial tricks, secret contracts, and choices Kody believed were confidential. The burden of these findings teases a final showdown that will utterly destroy what remains of the family. As the session comes to a close, there is one thing on every mind. What Kody doesn't know yet can kill him quicker than what he's already learned. The courtroom is alive, electric with tension. Kody sits stiff, his eyes fixed on the table before him. Each pile of papers is heavier than the last. Like the weight of each secret, each act of betrayal, physically bearing down, the wives come in together, measured steps, calm and purposeful. No more tentative glances or pent-up emotions of previous sessions. Today, they come as a team, ready to face Kody with the complete weight of the truth. The judge indicates the next witness, a financial analyst who had been working in private, going over the Brown family books for weeks. Their evidence is clinical, meticulous, and powerful. All the irregularities are naked for all to see. The tampered property titles, illegal financial transactions, and clandestine agreements that Kody had thought would never be traced. Robyn leans in, hands shaking ever so slightly but voice firm, as the analyst explains actions that flat out contradict Kody's public words and vows. Christine's eyes squint, a combination of vindication and old hurt passing over her face, as Janelle's face tightens into a thin-lipped line of quiet resolve. Kody's mouth opens to speak, but the words fail. His confidence, that which previously dominated a room, seems to dissolve in the face of irrefutable evidence. The wives, previously seeming subservient, are now in control. They make brief, furtive eye contact, an unspoken understanding that Kody is unable to access. With each revelation, each revealed act, his authority erodes, making him increasingly agitated. For the first time, Kody is fully experiencing the ramifications he attempted to dodge. And no one is around to protect him from what's coming. The lawyer who is working for the wives stands up once more, their voice steady and biting. They condense the years of lying, manipulating, and hiding, putting the pieces of emails, contracts, and depositions together in a tale that leaves no room for question. The courtroom is motionless, each listener knowing the empire that Kody created is crumbling, brick by brick. The tension is so palpable that it can be cut with a knife. Then, the most stunning revelation, a secret provision in the Coyote Pass contract that Kody believed was kept hidden or overlooked. The provision grants the wives a large amount of control over the property, a privilege they had not previously exerted. Gaps are heard throughout the courtroom. Robyn's eyes go wide with shock. Christine sits back a little as relief mingles with residual anger, and Janelle breathes out a lungful of air she didn't even know she had been holding. Kody goes white. This is not merely a legal setback, it's an emotional and personal reckoning. The judge leans forward, voice firm but steady. Mr. Brown, it seems your decisions have irreparably damaged family trust and harmony. Are you willing to take the consequences of these choices? Kody swallows hard, the weight of the moment bearing down on him. As the session ends, the tension still hangs in the air. Outdoors, journalists hush, cameras click, but indoors, the true drama still continues. The Brown family is on the threshold of change, and one question torments Kody. The worst is not what's been exposed, but what's yet to emerge. The courtroom is eerily quiet, as if time itself has become sluggish. Kody sits at the center, drained, his eyes sunken and pale. Each discovery, each testimony from previous sessions has taken its toll, and now the burden of the entire family's verdict weighs heavily on his shoulders. Robyn, Christine, and Janelle sit together in silent solidarity, a peaceful unison that exudes strength. Their faces are serene yet firm. The storm is over, but the sting of it is still raw and powerful. The judge clears her throat, signaling the final phase of proceedings. We've reviewed the evidence, listened to testimonies, and considered all arguments. The court must now address the consequences of these actions. The room is tense, the air almost vibrating with anticipation. Kody swallows hard, eyes flicking to his wives, searching for a hint of mercy, but finding only quiet determination. Robyn stands first, speaking in a voice of clarity that commands respect. She speaks of the turmoil of emotions, the years of misdirection, and the betrayal she never expected to see from one she trusted absolutely. Christine stands next, her voice composed but cutting, recalling financial deception and manipulation that left both emotional and pragmatic scars. Janelle is the last to speak, her voice firm but with a checked flame, recounting the shared pain and disillusionment. Every word is like a punch, resonating in the quiet room. Kody opens his mouth to defend himself, but the burden of responsibility is inescapable. There is no escape from accountability, nowhere to hide. He had created a well-ordered world, but now, with all the secrets laid bare, the facade has fallen. The wives' solidarity, their strength, and their truth now hold the story. Within this room, the Brown family is no longer about Kody's control. It is about the strength and courage of women who will not be silenced. The judge ultimately hands down the court's verdict. The ruling is obvious. The property arrangements are reorganized for fairness, openness, and equality among the wives. Kody's sole authority is once and for all put in check, and monetary control is under group control. It is not merely a legal remedy. It's a symbolic restoration of power, trust, land, and dignity by the women who suffered through years of manipulation. As the gavel comes down, the wives look at each other, not in victory, but in gentle relief. They have had their voices restored, their autonomy, and their place in a household that has irrevocably changed. Kody reclines, the full weight of his errors finally settling on him. The dynasty he had believed so invincible has been taken apart, and it's too late to go back. Outside, there are flashes of camera lights, headlines that scream betrayal and resilience, but within, the ultimate reality is personal. A family has endured exposure, confrontation, and heartbreak, and come out stronger after the revelation. And as the session comes to a close, one question hangs for the audience, prompting reflection and participation. Do you believe Kody is able to ever regain the trust of his family? Or is this the last chapter in his reign of control? Let us know in the comments below. The tension that used to grab the courtroom no longer exists. Sunlight pours across the gleaming floors, golden and bright, representing a fresh start. Kody sits in silence, reflective, no longer the dominant force he used to be. Opposite him, Robyn, Christine, and Janelle experience a moment of peaceful satisfaction. Kody, the one-time only controller, now sees the power and intelligence of the women who helped create his life and the family's journey. As the Browns exit the courthouse, reunited but transformed, the world outside is witness, intrigued by a tale of deception, suspense, courage, and finally, closure. The journey has been filled with drama, emotion, and tension, but today, the new journey begins. And to our audience here on the TLC News, one question still lingers for you. What do you foresee the future of the Brown family to be now? Can they ever rebuild trust, or has the past created too many fissures? Leave a comment below and let us know. We want to hear from you. No